Cancer cells feed off glucose. They feed off sugar. And when you're fasting, your regular cells, they feed off fat. So they're taking your fat cells and they're using that as fuel. If you just fast at one time, a multi-day fast for like 5 days, you're 70% less chance of getting cancer.
Yeah.
You know,
That high.
is that high? Let's just say there's any possibility of that one cell, like it could turn. It doesn't get to eat any more sugar.
Yeah.
You know, then that's it. It dies off. So you're starving.
That's right.
You're starving those cells.
That's
I fasted 5 days before. I felt like a superhero, man.
Clean.
I mean, I was feeling great. I'm like, man, what is going on?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And the only reason why I stopped was I scared myself.
Welcome to the Full Fuel Podcast with your host, Matt Tack, and
Dr. Alfred Alessi. Who do we got, man?
dude, we're so excited to have Jerome Millner here today. He is a 5-time 400-meter champion. Went to Weber State, was an All-American there, academic All-American too, and has been traveling around. Also worked for Nike and trained some professional athletes and high-level achievers in the sporting world. So we're super excited to have you, man. What's going on?
Man, I'm doing great. Glad to be here. This room is super comfortable, man.
Dude, real comfortable, right?
comfortable.
The couch is comfy.
It's a good vibe.
It's a good vibe.
It's a great vibe.
It's a great vibe, man.
We're going to be talking about all the above, but specifically sports performance, nutrition. It was something that Jerome and I talked about the other day. We tapped into the game changer. We tapped into that last episode, dialogue a little bit more about that. I've done some even research beyond that, but I'm super excited to tap into that and get everyone's intake in terms of how our body performs and how our body performs at a high level.
Yeah.
Even with Jerome, because I left this out somewhat intentionally, he's actually a semi-professional going into maybe a professional environment in pickleball. The dude's a champ. The dude's lighting him up on the courts. I've heard his name. I've heard his name quite a bit around Tampa Bay. That he's just tearing up the courts, any courts you go to. So he's working up the ranks right now. And so, anyways,
hard, man, I'm trying.
You're a menace out there, bro.
No, man, no. I do okay.
That's awesome.
tearing up the game.
I
But
compete a little bit.
it's a growing sport, man. It's like
Everyone's playing it.
It is
Literally
insane. I've only played it a couple times now, but like it was fun. The one thing that got me though on it was the rules. Right, I'm like, it was the same thing. What was it? It's not Anchorman. What do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not. What movie am I talking
Talladega
about?
Nights.
No, Talladega
Talladega
Nights.
Nights.
Yeah,
Sorry,
get your
Talladega
hands down. Yeah.
But I'm like, I'd hit it. Do I go up to the line now? Do I not?
Yeah.
No, it's funny,
I can't go
man.
into the kitchen.
My one of my best friends from Utah, his name's Adam Allred, and he's like, yeah, man, he's been trying to get me to play pickleball since 2018, and I'm like, no, I'm a hooper. I'm not going to play no pickleball.
Yeah.
That just sounds ridiculous. I'm not going to play it. I'm good. And so I ended up being at where was I? I was at the Y. I just finished a basketball session, and I hear this click clack, click clack, click clack. I'm like, what is this? And I kind of pull back the curtain. I'm like, what is going on? Is this tennis? No. Is this badminton? No. What is this? And I just sat and watched for probably about 10 minutes, and then it looked fun.
Yeah.
And this old lady, she's like, "Hey, Sonny, do you want to play? You want to play? You want to come and play?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." I'm like, "What is this?" She's like, "Oh, this is pickleball." And I'm like, this is pickleball."
Yeah.
And then this other old lady was just, I don't want to mention any names. She might hear this. Actually, her name is Marlene. She is 83. Yeah, and she's amazing. She is absolutely amazing.
No way.
Crushes it. But
Love
she
it.
kind of has like this little arrogance about her. Like she knows she's good. She's played pickleball for
Love
50 years. You know what I mean? So she knows she's like,
It's a swag.
She has some serious swag. And I went in there with my athleticism thinking I'm going to dominate. And no.
She tore it up,
She
huh?
just placed it. And it was like the whole time I'm like, you know what? I have to be able to beat 83-year-old Marlene. I have
That's
to.
the goal.
That's
Right
my
there.
goal.
That is it.
And once I
What are
got
you
that
training
goal, that was like my first step. And it stuck me in ever since.
How long has she been playing pickleball?
Oh, she's been playing for. She has a tennis background for like over 50 years, and she's been playing years. Yeah, she's been playing for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that then leads into do you ever ask her what her nutrition is?
She looks pretty fit. I haven't talked to her about nutrition, but like I was talking with you about the show that I watched, The Game Changers, and this has been simmering for a long time.
Yeah.
This thought about eating your vegetables. Eat your vegetables, man. They're good for you. I never heard anybody say, "Hey, don't eat your vegetables. They're bad for you." Of course, there are there are some vegetables out there, nightshades and things like that. They're like, "Hey, you shouldn't eat too many tomatoes. Or you shouldn't eat too many eggplants or whatever because it causes inflammation."
Yeah.
Who knows? But for the most part, vegetables and that type of way of eating is really good. I have a friend, Courtney, who's a vegetarian, or maybe he's a pescatarian. What's the one that used to eat fish? What are they?
Pescatarian?
Fish and eggs. Yeah.
Pescatarian. Yeah, pescatarian. And so, no, he doesn't eat eggs.
Oh, he doesn't eat eggs?
He doesn't eat dairy. And another friend of mine, Dr. Jude, he was telling me about his pescatarian diet that he's on. He's like, Jerome, I've been playing soccer, and he's 53, 52. He's like, man, I've been crushing it. I've just been, it's amazing. I have no inflammation, no anything, and I'm running around faster than the guys. I have so much energy. And this is right before I watched that Netflix episode of The Game Changers. So with my my total background, not to take too much of my total background is, I'm a pastor.
Yeah, tell us.
I'm a pastor as well, right? So
Awesome.
It's, for me, it's interesting because I'm looking at this from like a biblical worldview in a way, where it's like, okay, you have things like the Daniel fast, and in the Bible, I think it might be Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 23. It's like, hey, do not trust this man. Do not, if you're in front of a ruler, don't eat his delicacies and all these different things. And Daniel fast is like, he doesn't eat, you don't eat meat, and you don't drink any wine and these other things, and it's just like beans and seeds and lentils and all the things. And I'm like, this is so basically like a vegetarian. So then I dive a little deeper, and I start thinking to myself, all right. So in the beginning, right? I'm like, okay, God created man, Adam and Eve, and all things. And was Adam and Eve, like, were they like killing squirrels and eating them? You know what I mean? Like, were they? I mean, he just named all the animals, right? God gave him sovereignty to name all and provision, and you name all the animals. He names, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to eat you, chicken. Like, was he doing that? You know what I mean? You look delicious. You're going to be called a chicken, and I'm going to put you on a Barbie. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm pretty confident that's not what was happening until the fall happened, and then now you have animals killing other animals. There's conflict within the animal kingdom. There's conflict within the human beings. There's conflict with everything, right? So then that kind of is just sitting with me, and I'm like. And then, you can get more into what you thought about the documentary and just the conspiracy theories and all the things with the meats and all that. But it just makes me, like, I put all that aside because there's people on both camps that say, hey, vegetarian is the way to go. Hey, just eating the carnivore diet, man, I lost weight. Pastor Mitch was on the carnivore diet for a while, and he had like a little thyroid issue, gone.
Yeah.
Gone because that, and he's like, I just had meat and honey and something else, he said, and some berries, and now he feels amazing.
Yeah,
I did the same thing we were talking about last episode.
Jordan Peterson, same thing.
Yeah, so Jordan Peterson, and I know he talks about the carnivore diet. So then it's like, well, who's what's what? So that's something that you have to kind of have to view through the scope and use discernment to see.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, one big thing that I just did a little bit of research on. Alfie actually sent me a couple podcasts, and then I actually watched a documentary on the backside of that, which, like, really gave me a not rounded view because it was talking about blue zones. And so he went into, I think he went into about 8 different blue zones. And so it was essentially living to 100. So centarians, he wanted to see how they ate, right? And majority of the centarians that they found were more like heavily skewed towards like a plant-based environment,
carbohydrates,
right? Lighter carbohydrates. Now there was a bunch of other different factors, right? They didn't also like move at the capacity of which like we move, not in blue zones. And the reason why they were in blue zones is definitely was more of a it was protected. It's they didn't have a bunch of commerce, right? Things were like grown there.
Right.
Like it was almost they made conducive to their environment that they lived
Yeah.
and the culture. A lot of family. A lot of, there was various things that kind of came into play, but they were heavily based towards like the plant-based association. Now there was Greece. Greece had one of them. And so that one like really interested me the most because I was like, that one is light meat, right? They still ate meat, they incorporated, but there was a lot of phytonutrients that they had in their body.
Yeah.
And so you had the phytonutrients, but then you also had the carnivorous side of they had meat and steaks, but it wasn't like an abundance where they ate it 3 times a day, right? Yeah. They maybe had 1 time a day, or maybe it was every other day, but it was a lighter focus. Another thing that I thought was really, really important was this other blue zone out of Japan, and I was talking about this in a previous episode. They had this motto of stop at 80% full. And I thought that was interesting because I think a lot of times what we see in our body, and Alfie, you can touch into this even more, but is we talked about this, how we overfill our body at the capacity at which we need to. Yeah. And that's where the inflammation comes into play. We never give our gut a rest. It's always being overworked, and then more inflammation comes in our body, and hence it has to work against itself. Yeah. And so there was arguments on both sides. Then you sent me a couple podcasts that I looked into, and I think that's ultimately what I came upon was like, I have to look at it as, am I feeding myself too much? What am I putting into my body, right? Am I feeding because there is a thing, am I feeding myself too much steak, right? Because that can work against me and become inflammatory rather than me being that kind of like that 80%, which is this what the Japanese found is like a sweet spot within their culture, is specifically that blue zone. Super interesting. I would recommend everyone for that documentary too. But
what's it called?
It was I believe it was called Living to 100. Like understanding blue zones. Yeah. And so he had like 8 of them. But what are your thoughts?
I think a lot of those blue zones, they're growing their own food, right? Or they're like you said, off the land. So you're not getting this commercial agriculture that's like we talked about before, bro, and that I harp on with people is like sprayed. So heavily chemical sprayed and preserved. That way it can sit on the shelf in the grocery store for a week when normally that should start going bad in like a few hours, right? Yeah. So they're constantly picking and eating their food. To your point with the movement, bro, they're not doing CrossFit workouts and these insane things that we beat down our bodies with. They walk. They just walk. It's light impact, but they are moving their bodies a lot.
Majority of them are like, you were walking up hills.
They're always moving. Yeah. So, those 2 factors I think are big. And then I think one of the bigger things they touch on with the blue zones is their community. Like they have dinner together every night. It's like whether it's family or like an entire like little society that they're all just always together, and that the positive benefits of that is a huge factor to the longevity, right?
Isn't that something you do with at V3 in church too? Is that like you kind of bring that there isn't that you have dinner night, don't you, where you cultivate that element of food and community?
Community is like, it's huge. That's what people are wanting. People are like, that's why people in CrossFit, they come together because it's the community. Right? Yeah, it's like people like CrossFit's in my church, and it's like, well, it's you need more than community, but that's huge. That's huge to longevity and those things of those nature. I definitely agree with that. But it's interesting. You're talking about blue zones. Like, can you explain that a little bit? Like what blue zones are?
Yeah, so blue zones, like his definition, I think he had 8 parameters at which he touched on, because what he did was he went into one, and then he would check off like things that he thought were pillars within their society to create it. But he measured it on how many people lived to 100, right?
Gotcha.
And not even just 100, but like it was 100 with an active life. Like if you were living to 100 and you were just like, not doing anything, your
teeth are falling out,
He went in and he wanted to talk to 100-year-olds that were still hopping up on a horse, right? There was this guy in I think it was like Costa Rica, which I heard Costa Rica is like beautiful, but he had this guy. He was 102, and I'm not joking around. He had like lederhosen on. He was hopping up on this horse. He was a small little guy, hopped up. He was herding cattle. I'm like, that is crazy. I want to be that guy at 102, right?
You know what's interesting when you're talking about the 80%, 100%, and yeah, I guess our culture is just indulge, like everything big, get big everything, big trucks, big house, big food, big steak, feasting. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we that's how we eat, and then I'm gonna eat. And Thanksgiving's come up, and then I'm going to eat, and I'm just going to lay out and pass out. And it's like that's just like our culture. That is like the mainframe of the society that we live in right here in America. And I think about NASCAR. You guys know NASCAR because I just mentioned it because you said Talladega Nights and Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands, but it's interesting. You know, they fill the gas. The fuel, they give it just enough for the laps that they need. Like they don't fill it to the top because it won't be as efficient. And it's like we only need the fuel for the day, right?
That's awesome. I love that.
And so when I'm thinking about that, so often most people like we don't do intermittent fasting, or first of all, we don't do any type of fasting at all. I will tell you this: I fasted 5 days before, and it was the most amazing, not just like spiritually, physically. Yeah. I felt like a superhero, man. Clean. Yeah. I felt like now the first day was tough because you're going through those, withdrawals. Like, man, I need food. I'm like, no, I can make it. I have myself like a little small coffee, a little hangry. And then the next day you're like, but all of a sudden, that third day after 48 hours, that third, fourth, and fifth day, I was like, man. I mean, I was playing hoop. I crossed somebody up, hit a game winner, and then I went out and ran. And I mean, I was feeling great. I'm like, man, what is going on?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And the only reason why I stopped was I scared myself. I was like, I shouldn't feel like this. I'm all because you know what I mean. Like when you hear about fasting, and Jesus talks about it too, and in Matthew, he's like, don't be like the hypocrites that fast, and they show everybody like, oh, I'm so tired, and no one would have even knew that I was fasting, man. Yeah. You would not have known.
Was that water only?
Water only.
Water only. Wow.
I think. Okay. Did I have coffee?
If you want to hear your question answered live on the show, submit it to ask@fullfuel.com. Check out the Optimizers program where we build max muscle, improve longevity, and get guys freaking shredded so that they can crush it at life for as long as possible.
Live full fueled. Live beyond limits, baby.
I might have had coffee.
I mean, either way, it was
mainly
5 days.
It was mainly water.
That's awesome.
It wasn't even coffee every day. It was water with a pinch of like Himalayan sea salt.
Okay.
Electrolyte. And I'm trying to tell you, like, I felt amazing. And what happened was, it was day 5, and I'm 203 pounds, and I dropped down to 187.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, I'm 187. I'm oh my God, I want to start eating. Like, I don't want to get any thinner. But I didn't feel like, and I've read on this, like, day 6, 7, 8, 9, I felt normal. I was just like, I'm 187 pounds. Like, I feel like I can keep going. Yeah. And those hunger pains, they would be, every 2 hours and every 4, then every 6, and like it was 6 for every 6 hours. I feel like, man, I'm hungry right now. I got to eat something, and it'd last for like 20 minutes. Yeah. And then it was gone.
It kind of goes away. Yeah.
It was gone. It was 20 minutes and then gone. Then I'm good for another 6 hours, and it was like, oh yeah, I haven't ate since Sunday afternoon. Oh my goodness, it's Thursday night right now. What's going on?
You thought you were about to ascend, bro.
I'm like, man, you know what? This is a good experience for me, and there's one more thing I want to say. I've also read this. So, cancer cells, right? Cancer cells feed off glucose.
Yep.
Right. So they feed off sugar, and when you're fasting, right, your regular cells, they feed off fat. So they're taking your fat cells and they're using that as fuel. And I can't remember what doctor said this, but he was saying if people fasted if you just fasted one time a multi-day fast for like 5 days, you're 70% chance of not getting cancer.
Yeah,
less chance of getting cancer.
Yeah.
You know,
That high.
is that high? Yeah, I mean, because
Wow.
if there's, let's just say there's any possibility of that one cell, like it could turn.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't get to eat any more sugar.
Yeah.
You know, then that's it. It dies off. So you're starving.
That's right.
You're starving those cells.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, and it's just, you know, it makes you think about like people who have cancer. Like, yeah, I mean, you need to eat some food. Here, have some, you know, have some fries. You know what I mean? Have some McDonald's. Like, let's get you eating. And it's like, maybe they shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe they shouldn't eat for a
Starving
little
away.
bit and just, you know, eat things, you know, maybe eat an avocado or some things like that, but, you know, or some nuts and seeds and things that don't have sugar in it. So that's
Yeah.
something to think about too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, restrict autophagy is huge. We just talked
Yeah.
about that in last episode. What's wild? So I did this. I put in ChatGPT if everyone in America. I think we have. Do we have about 144 million people, or is it more than that?
I think it's 327 million.
Okay, so whatever the number
In the
is of
US.
Americans, right?
I could be wrong. Somewhere 320 something, I think.
I realize like every American, I should have done it as a delta, like let's say 20%, because I mean the reality is there's people that are hungry in America, right?
Yeah.
But like I put every single American, so let's say 330 million Americans, whatever that number was, because I did Google search it. But then I put in like if they gave up one meal a day, right? How many calories would that reduce?
Okay.
Like if one meal a day for 1 month, for just 1 month, you gave up one meal a day, every single American, right? It was 14 trillion calories. So like that they would give up in their diet, because the average American diet right now is 3,500 calories. Yeah. So that would basically bring it down to like a standard 2,000 calorie diet. Get this. It was about 14 trillion calories. Do you know how many meals would be saved in a given year if everyone did that for 1 month out of the year?
320 times 30.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 billion meals.
Jeez. Yeah.
2 billion meals would be saved. And so then it like came a chain of thoughts, right? Because when I was watching The Game Changer, one of the big things is that the reason why we have to produce so many cattle is because we eat so many cattle, right?
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? We like not too many people fast because we're constantly eating, right? So I was like, dude, if more word could get out, right? Or there was a month dedicated, hey, this is our fasting month, right? To give up one meal. We could save so many meals. And it wouldn't be people shelling out money. It would be like, we could actually save cattle. We could grow them maybe a little bit better.
You'd save
right?
so much. You'd save cattle. You'd save money. You'd save, I mean, first of all, like your liver is always working.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like your liver never gets can your liver just have a break? Can it have a smoke break? You know what I mean? Can it just, you know,
We
for a
just saw
second,
you
like
say
it never. Can I just get like a 15-minute? You know, your liver's like, please. And it's like if you're eating every 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, you never, even if it's you sleep and you eat and it's only 8 hours. I think it's 12 hours that your liver needs before it goes through everything and it actually gets to just rest.
Yeah.
And so we never just think about I'm 43 years old and like I've never given my liver a rest. My liver's just plowing away, just plowing away. Like there's just more inventory coming. This is where autophagy comes in, because this is like, it's just like being in a room in your bedroom and there's just shipments of clothes just keeps on coming in, and socks is coming in, and socks and shirts and socks and shirts, and it's like, man, it just keeps on piling up, and you're like, well, I guess I'll wear this one, or like the analogy breaks down, but it's like your body will just use whatever. If it's wood, it's not going to use like really good oak. It's just going to be like, let's just use this and we'll repair muscle with this crappy piece of wood here.
Yeah.
We just grab,
Like
but when you're like when you're actually fasting, your body's like, man, you know what? It gets picky.
Yeah.
All right, man. I don't know when the next shipment's going to come in.
Yeah.
Rome was like clockwork every 3 hours, but now something's going on, and so we haven't had a shipment in 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. So let me, we got to be more picky. We got to get the best. I need the best wood to repair this muscle. I need the best, the best nutrients to repair this muscle damage over here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think it would solve just by downstream. It just solves so many issues, like internally, And with the cancer cells and all the things, there's that avenue. There's avenue with saving money. You know how much money I've been saving?
Yeah.
Not eating breakfast.
Same.
Right.
I love it, bro.
Like man, I've
Isn't
been
that crazy?
man. You save money, especially if I'm
Yeah.
going out. Like man, I want to go to Daily Eats or something like that, and then that's $15 right there, and then 15
Easy.
times whatever 4 days a week,
Yeah,
and then
that's it, bro.
add that up a week.
For real.
Yeah.
It's a lot, right?
It's craziness. It's wild.
Singing lessons for my daughter. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. What are your I know you were talking about too, you gave some really clear examples in terms of I'm going to go back to this a little bit, how the gut processes, and it's like then that filter source of creating the, feeding off those micronutrients to the rest of the body and how the cells work. Talking to that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the concept he just touched on, and
Yeah.
we touched on a little bit on the last episode, is the hitting the reset button, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're constantly bringing stuff in, there is waste being generated. Every cellular process creates waste. Every time we break down a nutrient you break into the bloodstream, there's waste, right? Everything creates waste. How do you get that waste out? Your body has to do it, right? That's the autophagy. But it can't do that if it's like, hey, we got new stuff coming in, right?
Yeah.
The shirt thing, I painted such a visual because, like, as a kid, bro, I hated like folding my laundry. Like, I would just pile it up, dude, and like, I was like, oh god, like that's inside my body, Like, I just that triggered a little bit. That struck the chord. But like, that's true, man. It's like your body has to prioritize, and it's always going to prioritize like what's most efficient and what's kind of best for it, So we touched last time, man, about being like metabolically flexible and the fear people have around like being hungry.
Yeah.
And people fear it, right? And so much of this is this like this money driven narrative of our country to sell food products, right? Like you got to eat breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day.
Yep.
You got to eat a snack between breakfast and lunch.
What does that mean though? Like to eat breakfast? Like breakfast is actually break your
That's
fast.
right. Yeah.
It's not like hey, you got to eat at 8 o'clock. Hurry, not it's breakfast. It's like my breakfast is at 3 at 2.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was thinking of like the supply coming in. You ever been to a dirty restaurant? And it's like,
Unfortunately.
Those are the best ones usually.
It's like, it is. But there's like flies on it, you know what I mean? And it's just, it hasn't been wiped down because the food is great, right? But there's only 4 workers and there's a line of people.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't have time to clean. So at some point, like before you open or whatever, or the first, right before lunch, when it's like 9 o'clock, especially if it's a lunch, let's say like Fresh Kitchen, for example, and it's like they open at 10, but no one's really coming at 10 to eat lunch. They come at 12, right? Like wipe down the tables, clean everything, make everything like that. Like that's autophagy to me.
Yeah.
Like clean everything down. Like give yourself a rate because you only have 4 work. You only have a certain amount of I can't process all the stuff coming in and clean. Like we all our focus is on processing the shipment coming in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like to me it's like the same thing with the dirty restaurant. It's like you guys need to when there's downtime, right? When there's fasting time, like clean everything, and then we can actually see like. And then if everything's cleaned and cleared, then everything's less cluttered and things less cluttered in here. You know what I mean? Like,
and it just feels better then, right?
And you feel better.
Taste
great
different.
analogy.
You go in,
Yeah.
the food
That's
tastes
awesome.
good. You're in there. It's like, man, this is a nice I feel
like,
I feel
dang.
lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel good.
I feel lighter in this restaurant. I feel lighter in my body.
As always, this episode is brought to you by Nutritious, convenient optimized superfood nutrition powered by nootropics, designed to elevate your physical and mental performance no matter what life throws at you. Nutritious has been proven to improve cognition, boost memory, and speed up mental and physical processing. Alfie, tell everyone where they can get it.
Yep, head on over to nutup.com to experience these benefits for yourself and live beyond limits today.
There's a mentality too. I was saying it to Alfie the other day, like that of the ability to say no to things too. Like it's a mental edge that it creates for yourself. Of like when you're able to do that, you're able to say like no a little bit more clearly. Because one of the strongholds. If you can say no to food, I feel like you can say no to anything.
Seriously, bro. Like, because again, like it's a flesh matter.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you're, our stomach's a spoiled little child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like it cries. It's like, feed me, come on, I'm hungry. Yeah. And it's like, and it's like, no, like relax. In the same way, whether you're working out, whether you're doing a plank, whether you're doing, your body's like, oh, this is so hard. Like, let's just stop. I don't want to do this plank anymore. And, you just go like, no, like, we're going to do this. Yeah. No, but we're going to die. If we keep doing this. Like, it literally, your body, we're going to die. Yeah. And it's like, no, we won't. Relax. And it's like, okay, I just did a 4-minute, 5-minute plank. We didn't die? Oh, I didn't know I can do that. Now I know I can do that. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with food. If we don't eat, like right now, we will die. And it's like, it's only been 8 hours. You're fine. It's been a day. It's been 2 days. Okay, we made it through 2 days. You're right, Jerome. We made it through 2 days. But we ain't going to make it through. We will die. And then you do day 3, day 4, day 5. Like, oh, my goodness. So now my body's like, okay, this is familiar.
Yeah.
And it is. It's a. If we could say no, and we control our bodies, right? Like our mind controls the body. When we think like, I'm going to turn and talk to Alfie. Cool. I'm going to turn and talk to you. I'm going to speak. Like it's my mind telling my body what to do. Right. So, but so often we let our bodies control our mind. Right. Like I can control, I can breathe, and breathing is a perfect example because, I can breathe, especially when you work out and you're tired. Yeah. I just finished running. I can't. It's like, hey, breathe through your nose out your mouth. Relax. I can't. Just, look, watch me.
That panic mode. Yeah.
That's why they tell you, smell the flowers and blow out the candles. And it's like, easy. And then all of a sudden your body's, and then everything relaxes. It's like everything follows the head, right? Like when I used to run the 400, like, and this is a perfect example when you're running in that last 100, like you just feel the monkey jump on your back and you're dying and you're like, you start straining your neck and it's like, my coach always been, listen, don't strain your neck. Like your body will follow what your head does. Mm-hmm. So if you start going like this and straining, then you tense up here, then your whole body's tensing up and you're like, I will never make it to the finish line because this is going to take like 2 minutes to get 50 yards. But it's like, okay, I feel that it creeping up, that lactic acid creeping up. I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to focus on that. Yeah. This is where I ignore the body, and I'm just focusing on my breathing. We got to do the same thing with our stomachs. Yeah. We got to ignore our stomachs. Like, oh man, my stomach's talking. I got to eat. Right. No, you can wait. No, we're gonna wait. We're not gonna eat because you want it too bad. That's why. Sometimes you gotta tell everything you want. No, you're not gonna get the cookie this time. I know you want that cookie right there. It looks delicious. I know it probably is too. But you're not gonna have it.
Parent your stomach, bro.
You gotta parent your stomach, and then when you ignore your stomach, the whiningness. Yeah. If I have a little daughter, she's 1. If she's like, nah, I'm like, listen, we're not doing that. Yeah, no. She's like, I'm like, listen, we're not. That's not what's happening right now. She's like, okay. And it's up. Yeah, and it's the same thing with the stomach, man. Eventually, those stomach grumblings will be like, and then you can go.
Yeah.
Our bodies are smart, man. They'll learn, they'll adapt. You weren't born jacked like that. You know what I mean? No. Your body adapted to the stress you put into it, bro. Like you run enough, your body's gonna get lean, and you're gonna get. It's gonna be more efficient at what you're making it do.
Yeah. And you're wise dudes. Like it's a balance, right? It's not like if I feel a sharp pain or something like that. Obviously, working out, but it's like, right. If I'm like, I'm just like I got to do legs today. And honestly, I don't want to do legs today.
Even more reason to go do it. Bro.
I don't want to do it. Right. And then when my body's like, no, you know what? We did it on Monday, and we did it last Thursday, and the Monday before. We're good. Yeah. You're doing a lot today, man. You have to train some people. You came here to a podcast. You got to do another meeting. Come on. And then you have a meeting later on. Let's just chill. Yeah. Those thoughts are going through my mind, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm like, no. After this, leg day time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not excited about it, but I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do it because it's discipline.
Yeah, discipline. That's a big thing, too.
That's like the power of your subconscious mind, bro.
Subconscious mind, yeah.
So, like, the conscious controls the subconscious, but the subconscious controls us, right? So, it's like you subconsciously make decisions, but you can use your conscious mind to override it.
Yeah.
If you tell yourself no enough to, I'm not going to eat that food, I'm not going to eat after dinner, I'm not going to eat before bed, eventually your subconscious mind will listen, and it's like, we don't eat before bed.
That's right.
So it's in the same with training, right? Like, no, we do legs on Monday. We do legs on Monday. Yeah. You just say it, bro. You say it out loud. You sound like a crazy person walking around talking to yourself, but who cares? Yeah. It is literally changing neurons in your brain the more you do that.
And you have to run from temptation. You know what I mean? Like my wife made cookies. Erin, she made cookies the other day. No, like, why did you? First of all, I'm like, listen, and like, because see, look,
cookies, Blake.
Because my daughter wants cookies, and so she makes these cookies, right? And I'm hungry, and I'm like, why do you make these cookies for? I'm like, I don't like cookies in the house. You know what I mean? I'm like anti-cookie, anti-cookie guy. But and they're soft, and they're sugar cookies, and they got the cream cheese on them, and I'm like, man, my daughter made them. Hey, you want a cookie? No, I don't want one of those cookies. I don't want one of those. And then, time goes by, and I keep seeing it, and every time I go, into the kitchen, I'm hungry, man. Let me get a drink or something. I got to pass by these cookies. And I'm like, man, I need to get it. It needs to be out of sight. So I said, Erin, listen, like, you need to cover these cookies up. Get some tinfoil. You get the tin. It's crazy how the mind works, man. Yeah. It's tinfoil over the cookies. And now when I walk in there, I know that there's cookies there.
Now you start smelling them.
I'm not seeing them. So I'm not even wanting them. Even though I walk by, I'm like, oh yeah, there's cookies there. I know if I lift that up, that's where it is. But it's just the visual of seeing those. It's like, and it's like that temptation of like, man, those cookies. And I gave him one time. I was like, man, you know what? And that's what I said. I only smashed 2, but I was like.
I swear I did the same thing like last Friday. I'm like, man, we had people over. They couldn't cover up the cookies. I probably should have covered up the cookies. And I'm like, man, I haven't had a cookie in a minute.
I know. And that's the same.
Maybe I did one worse. I took 2 cookies and put some ice cream in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
That cookie.
You went a little extra.
I went a little extra.
Oh, man.
I'm like, I haven't had a cookie in a minute.
But it's crazy. If you cover them, it's so weird. It's like, I know they've been there and they're just, I'm like, they're for my daughter. She can have them. And I don't see them, and therefore it's not in my mind. So it's like, I guess it's a lesson of just like, what we put into our bodies, whether it's through our mouth, through our eyes, or ears, like it affects us because we're porous beings. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even though we think, I'm hardened, man, no, nothing affects me. No, like music affects you. What you see affects you. What we put into our mouth affects your body. Like we are porous. Like even the sun comes through our skin and we get vitamin D. Like we're open to all types of things. So you just got to be wise about that.
That's awesome. Critical. Andrew Huberman was actually talking about the kind of the narrative of music and how music actually brings just a cadence or a flow on your body. And so then there's an outward like narrative at that moment. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, like when I'm working out, I like listen to like rap or something, get me amped up, like my blood flowing. But I don't choose that. Like I don't choose that outside. I'm usually listening to like Maverick City. As like I take my girls, like I've actually primed that in my morning schedule because I know like the narrative of how I want the day to go. So I like incorporate that in my drive.
That's wise.
Because I want like my girls and I to experience that, and that just like it settles my spirit. It gives me a very peaceful state with them. Yeah. But he was saying that like just music, whether you realize it or not, is imposing something. So if you're always listening to some element of like a hostile type music or environment, that eventually is ultimately going to be like the operation of like kind of the day, what you're going to carry with you and a level of energy that which you'll probably emit. And but there's other controlled environments. Like when I'm in CrossFit, I
kind of want that.
I'm not listening to Maverick City during CrossFit. Yeah. I'm looking to get it in. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's an element to that, but I love the idea of how you give that visual of our bodies are porous. Yeah. Whether it's with water, whether something's on us like a lotion, or even something that's just like outside. I mean, it's an energy source that's coming on us, regardless.
There's research that shows because music is waves. It's wavelengths of sound, right? The waves like penetrate your body and actually change the way your cells respond as well, right? Like you said, that abrasive music that's real high frequency wavelength creates like rigidity and slows things down. It can cause your blood to like slow down or thicken, right? Versus like the reason you put on some binaural beats or some kind of like alpha brainwave type music and it like soothes you is because it creates like a homeostatic kind of like balance within the cells. It's crazy, man. Like that. Physiologically, the music is affecting you more so than even just psych.
So interesting, man. Like especially like alpha waves and things like that. Sometimes I'll put that on. I meditate morning and night. It's just something that I've habitually been doing for years now. Because that's like the two things that I can control. Right, I can control the beginning of my day, and I can control the end of my day if I make it through the day. Right, I can close my day. I don't know what's gonna happen in the middle of the day. I don't know if I'm gonna get hit by a car, bit by a dog. You don't know what's gonna happen. So, but at the beginning of the day, I can I carve this time out. Give it to God. I'll meditate. And at night, I do a different type of meditation where either I'll listen to some really calm gospel music, or sometimes I'll just do some alpha wave beats or something like that, just calm, and I'll just be more. I feel like it changes whether it's my cells, whether I feel more receptive, and I have my hands open. I feel like I can receive, and it's almost like, here I am, God. I'm here for whatever you have to say to me, and if you have anything to say to me, I'm here to receive. Because so often I'm doing this and moving, and we're busy, we're hurried, and I need this, and it's like, you know what? Let me just calm everything down, and so. Yeah.
That's good.
That's awesome.
That's John Maxwell talks about the head and the heart aligning, right? And when you can control the controllables, I'm a big morning and then night I have a wind down, but that level of being openness is really treating your body like a temple. That's been a big thing for me this year too. Of I struggle with this to an element of projecting it on others. When I'm I'm just take care of you first. But there's a piece of dude, why are you treating your body like a rundown motel? Come on, man. Yeah. There's not much time, not much time left. You gotta start treating and respecting that. And it starts with how you operate in the beginning and the end of the day of, man, you only get the shell one time. It's a borrowed shell, whether you're Christian or not. Yeah. It's a borrowed shell.
It's a gift.
Right? It's a gift, man. And I don't want to get upstairs and be in front of my maker and say, and then him be looking around. He's like, "Dang, man, what'd you do? The heck did you do with that thing down there?"
Bro, let me just say this one thing. I was playing pickleball the other day, and this guy, his name's Buddy, and he's an amazing pickleball player. He has one leg, and it was just on Monday. And I did legs, and I was inside, I was like, oh, my legs are sore, I'm so tired. Ow, my knee hurts. And I'm limping around trying to play, and he has one leg, man, and he's freaking killing it, crushing it. And I'm like, you know what?
That's powerful.
No complaining, man. I mean, this is why today I'm doing leg day. Yeah. Because I'm sure he's like, hey, you know what? Give me your legs. I'll go run a marathon. Right. Yeah. I won't whine and cry. Give me your legs. I'll go do this and that.
That's right. And so I won't skip like that.
No, that's why it's we don't know how much time, to your point, that we have. I mean, I might be gone tomorrow. I might be gone in 5 years. So let me do everything to the best of my ability, and grow in those areas, whether it's physical, biosocial, spiritual, all the things, right? I want to make sure I'm taking leaps forward, moving forward, right? And then taking care of your body is a part of it. Body and spiritual is so connected, man.
So connected.
It's so connected, right. And we think that it's not, but it's a lot. Yeah.
And then it's that piece of, because I know you have kids, you have twins, and I got 3 girls, and it's that piece of modeling. I don't want to, man. Success in my eyes is being able to pass that down to the people I care most about. Yeah, awesome. And if I'm looking at them and I care most about them, and I'm not modeling that attribute right, and then and they're not taking care of themselves, I'm like, oh man, I didn't model right. Yeah. That wasn't good. And then it's catch up time. But while they're young and they see those things, I think it's huge. So.
Man, I want to ask you a question, man, that maybe you can pass some wisdom along to the people listening. And
I'll do my best. I can't promise anything.
We talk about these pillars of like being full fueled, right? The name of the podcast is how do we fuel ourselves? Obviously, nutrition's one. Making sure we're moving, mind, sleep, work, and having purpose, right? Yeah. To you, give some advice as to how you live your life fully fueled and what that means to you. Just kind of, whatever you think.
Oh man, well. First, Jesus wants us to live our life and live it to the full, right? For me. So, like I said, the whole wholeness is important, right? So biopsychosocial, spiritual, all those avenues and elements are what makes you whole, and you need fuel for all of that. So
nice.
There's certain things that I do, like I said, I always recalibrate my vision to him every day, because there's so many distractions, there's so much going on, man. There's wars going on in Israel, and it's like, we're not gonna get into all that, but there's like so much going on and then even in our own country, and everything wants our heart, right? Everything is vibing for our heart, like whether it's your social media, whether it's your iPhone, whether it's your your favorite sports team, like whether it's your job, like they want your heart, right? And it's like, that's not where my heart belongs. So for me, I have to recalibrate my vision. I'm like a compass. I need to, if I'm not looking to him and recalibrating my vision every single day, then I slowly just get pulled back into what's important, ambition and the worldly things. And so I got to always go like this. That's how I start my day, right? And I kind of just center myself. And then so with my body, I just sit still. Like, guess what, body? You know what? You're going to sit still right now. And it's like the hardest thing. I mean, if you ever, and I'll sit still for like, anywhere from like 7 to 10 minutes. And I'll just be like, I'll fold, I'll just sit still, and I'll just breathe. And I'll sit still. And I mean, I do my best. I mean, I'm sitting still. And it's funny, when you first do it, it's like all of a sudden, my ear itches.
Itchy, yeah.
And it's just like, and so even if my nose itches, I'm like, oh, my nose itches, I gotta scratch it. I'm like, nope. I don't think about that. And like I said before earlier in this episode, that I will just breathe, right? So it's the same thing. I think about my breathing, and I black out everything else, because your stomach's like, hey, over here, we need to eat. No. Or we're doing a plank, and it's like, oh man, I'm pain. It's like, nope, I'm not listening to that. Yeah. Or I'm running the last, the monkey's on my back, the last 100, and it's like, oh man, just tighten up. Let's just stop. This hurts. And it's like, no, I'm just focusing on my breathing. So that's one thing I do, and that helps with my physical body,
right?
Because it trains my body like, hey, guess what? I'm in charge. You're not in charge. You're gonna do what I say. When I say squat. When I say jump.
That's right.
When I say go here. Yeah. Like this is so. That's how I train the physical body. Then, through that, I think community is super important. Yeah. That's the social aspect, and all that helps with, and then psychologically that helps too with what I do in the morning. So always just recalibrating my vision, and then saying okay, and having the mindset. I don't know. This is kind of stoic a little bit, but having the mindset of whatever comes, what can I learn from this day, whether it's good or bad. It's kind of like surf, man. You know what I mean? You got to surf the waves, and the wave is coming. I'm like, okay, that's a wave.
Yeah. And
my mindset is like, okay, I'm going to do my best. And usually, honestly, man, your best is going to be good enough. I'll tell people that, like, if you try your best, like, and be honest with yourself with everything, right, man? I tried my best to learn Spanish, and no, you didn't.
Right. Yeah.
Did you set time every single day to spend 20 minutes a day doing it? Did you discipline yourself? Well, no. Then you didn't try your best. Be honest. Or I tried my best to do this. Like, if you try your best, 90% of the time it's gonna be enough to accomplish all your goals.
Yeah.
Like so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's living life full fueled.
That is full fueled.
Yeah. That's right there.
You're fully fueled, brother.
I'm fully fueled.
You are fully fueled.
Fueled up.
Well, that's what we got here.
Awesome,
man, live life full fueled. We're going to be tapping into movement in our next series.
Awesome.
So we're super pumped about that.
Yeah.
And we'll have to, man, we tapped into a lot of things here, fully fueled.
Yeah, this was deep, a lot to digest. So
I don't know what you guys are going to name this.
Man,
we'll roll that topic in, but we tapped into. I mean, it was all good stuff.
Awesome.
So we'll have everything in the show notes too. But thanks so much, Jerome, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, super grateful, man.
Thanks,
it was awesome, and that's what we got here. Live life full fueled.